Last week I told you not every thought deserves your belief. And this week we're going to take it one step further. Because if you believe the same thing, the same thought you have for 10 years, it stops feeling like a thought. It becomes your reality. You base your life off of this thought, this reality. I used to think I wasn't good enough. You've probably heard this story. Not because someone said it, and obviously not because it was true. Because I told myself that story long enough that it became the lens through which I saw life. Everything I did, I wasn't good enough. You see, the brain doesn't just process information, it creates meaning in it. Two people can walk into the exact same room and leave with completely different experiences, depending on the story they tell themselves. One person may think, boy, they ignored me, while the other person thinks they were probably just busy. Same room, two people, different stories, different reality, based on stories that they've told themselves their whole life. Here's the part we don't see when it's happening. Our brains are wired to look for evidence that proves us right, proves our stories right. And once we decide on a story, we start collecting proof. If your story is, I'm not good enough, your brain goes hunting for the proof. You'll never be good enough. You'll always be searching, trying. And if your story is, nobody listens to me, your brain goes hunting for proof. And if your story is, I'm always behind, guess what you're going to notice all day long? You're behind. You're not getting things done. That's how the brain works. So when I was little and my dad could relate to my sister because she knew all the sports teams, she went fishing with him, she wanted to be a doctor, little Karen said, boy, I'm not good enough. I don't do all those things. I don't talk to him as much. No one handed me that story. I wrote it in my little mind. And I believed it. It became my reality. And my mind spent years proving me right. Until I realized that story wasn't even true. How crazy is that? I spent my whole life trying to be good enough, as good as my sister. But see, these stories don't quietly sit in the back of our mind that we tell ourselves. They're running our everyday life, everything we do. You send an email. 3 hours later, no reply. Before you had a sip of coffee, you have the whole story, the whole script. They're annoyed with me. I said the wrong thing. This is going to go sideways. You don't have a single new fact. You have a story. And your body believes it. Your shoulders get tight, your jaw clenches, your stomach turns in a knot, all over a reply that just hasn't gotten to your inbox yet. Or you open your banking app. You see a number. And in half a second, the story arrives. I'm behind. I should be further along by now. I should be making more money. I should have more in the bank. Everybody else has this figured out. What's my problem? Do you notice what happened there? You didn't get any new information. You knew the number. Same number as before. That's a fact. That number is a fact. But the story you're telling yourself behind that number, maybe you just saw that someone got a promotion and all of a sudden you compared yourself to them. And your nervous system can't tell the difference between your story and reality. It reacts to the story like it's the thing to address. Or this one I like. You're scrolling. And somebody you grew up with just posted that they got that big promotion. They did a big business launch. They're doing a huge vacation, huge wedding. And all of a sudden, quietly, the story you start telling yourself is, what am I even doing? You compare your whole messy behind the scenes life that you know all too well to their one highlight. But your brain doesn't just file it that way. It files it as evidence that you're not enough. Proof for a story you were already telling yourself. So let me ask you a few questions and sit with these. They're big. What's a story you've told yourself so many times you've stopped questioning it? It's become your reality. Where did it come from? Did you choose it or did you inherit it? And here's the one that matters the most. If that story weren't true, how differently would you show up tomorrow? Don't take time, process this. Because that last question is a whole another video in and of itself. Now I want to walk and talk to the leaders in this space. Because everything I just described doesn't stay personal. It walks into work with you. A leader believes, my team doesn't respect me. Now every quiet meeting is evidence. They don't respect me. Every unanswered message is proof. And without meaning to, that leader gets defensive, controlling, and hard to reach because they don't feel they're being respected, which actually creates the distance they were afraid of in the first place. The story made itself come true. A leader believes, if I show stress, I look weak. So they armor up. I'm not stressed. I can handle this. They never let the team see them regulate, recover, and reset. And then they wonder why no one on the team feels safe being human, being themselves. A leader believes, I have to have all the answers. So they stop asking questions to their employees. They stop listening. And the smartest people in the room slowly stop offering anything. Here's what we have to understand. Our story doesn't just stay in our head. It leaks. It shows up in our tone and what and who you reward, and who you interrupt, and who you judge. And the room you walk into already braced for a fight. The story becomes the lens. The lens becomes your behavior. Your behavior becomes your team's experience. And enough of those experiences repeated day after day, that's not a mood. That becomes your culture. This is what people miss about culture. See, culture isn't your values painted on the wall for their employees to read and memorize. It's the stories your people are quietly telling themselves behind the scenes. It's not safe to disagree. Nobody's going to back me up if I screw up. If I make a mistake, I'm done. Nobody put those in the handbook, but the team is collecting evidence for them every single day. And here's the hard part for us as leaders. A lot of that evidence, we're the ones handing it to them. You can't slogan your way out of that. It's proof by experience. So you build a different culture the same way you build a different story. One pause, one response, one repeated moment at a time. That is culture by design, not default. Pause, breathe, proceed. Connection. This is why the pause matters. A pause gives you enough space to ask one question. Is this actually true? Or is it just a story I've been telling myself? Because sometimes the thing holding you back isn't the situation. It's the meaning, the story you've attached to the situation. And the thing holding your team back might be the story they're reading off of you. A pause is where you catch it before it becomes your tone, before it becomes your decision, before it becomes your reality, and before it becomes your culture. You are not every thought. You're definitely not every story. But if you never stop to examine them, they will write your future for you. And if you lead people, they'll write theirs too, off of yours. A pause changes that. A pause lets you pick up the pen and start a different chapter, a different story for you and for everyone around you. Everyone who's watching how you show up and how you affect the rest of the team. This is Karen Wright with Pause, Breathe, Proceed. 3 words, 1 habit. A new way of living with a new way of thinking. Peace out.